right, guys, how you doing? It is February 2nd, 2021. I am Samantha K, and this is the Samantha K Experience. Hi, I really missed you guys. I know I've been, MIA for a little bit, and I am back. Just to let you guys know, I've been pretty busy, adulting, taking care of business. You know how that goes. So we have a sizable show today. So I won't try to overwhelm you guys. So there's been a lot that I've been doing as of late. So just to get to the thick of it, I've been watching some retro stuff. So in today's Retro Corner, we're going to talk about a show that used to come on, I think it was on either channel 2 or channel 4. I think it was a CBS or NBC, and it was called The Mentalist, starring Simon Baker and Robin Tunney. And if you guys don't know who Robin Tunney is, just for those of us who grew up in the 90s and stuff, if you guys ever watched the movie The Craft, she was the main character, with the red curly hair, who fought Fairuza Balk in the end of the movie, and pretty much just made her go crazy and took away her powers and stuff like that. So that's who Robin Tunney is. So basically, The Mentalist is about this guy who was supposed to be sort of like a psychic, but he speaks to the dead. I guess he's a clairvoyant. I believe that's the correct term. So he starts off becoming like this. He was like the sleazy, I'm speaking to the dead kind of guy. And it turns out that he goes on this talk show, and he makes a reference to the serial killer that he's supposed to be assisting the police on catching, named Red John. Now, this name is going to be very important for the rest of the time that I'm going to talk about the show. So, Red John is a serial killer who has his calling card is to write not so much write, but to draw a smiley face in his victim's blood on the wall. And depending on wherever you are, it is the first thing you see before you see the dead body on the floor or wherever it is. So that's Red John's calling card. One of the talk show hosts asked Simon's character, his name is Patrick Jane. He asked Patrick, hey, I heard you, pretty much helping the police track down Red John. Can you give us some insight? So essentially, he just tells the talk show host that Red John is just pretty much just some guy crying out for help, and he's whatever. He's not really anything that, he just pretty much minimizes Red John. So that same night, I believe, Red John goes to Patrick's house and murders Patrick's wife and his daughter. Apparently, you don't get to really see what happened, but you see from Patrick's perspective as he goes up the stairs, and first he comes home and he has this nice, lovely looking house. It's made out of glass pretty much, and he moves his daughter's tricycle out the way. I think she had a tricycle. I'm not quite sure. He moves her bike out the way, and he goes up the stairs. And then right as he's about to open the door, there's this note on the door written in printing ink, and says, Mr. Jane, I don't like to be made fun of, and essentially just if you want to see what's inside, open the door. So Patrick opens the door, and the first thing he sees on the bedroom wall is the smiley face of Red John, and he looks and he sees his dead wife. Red John's also addition to his calling card is to paint his victims' toenails in their blood. So what you see is technically the victim's bloody toenails being painted, and how he killed them, I don't know if he stabs them or what his preference is, but it's pretty bad. Fast forward, because the show sometimes goes back and forth between flashbacks, so that was more of a flashback about how Patrick got to be working with the California Bureau of Investigations, the CBI, and the boss there is played by Robin Tooney's character. Her last name is Lisbon. I forgot her first name is Elizabeth. Lisbon, I think her name is Elizabeth Lisbon. Oh, that's such a weird name. So, Lisbon is essentially, she's the heart and soul and the rock of the team. She has this new girl that shows up on the team. Her name is Van Pelt. She has a nice red head. She's kind of like, she's a newbie. So, but she's also can be quite tough, and she's very firm in her beliefs. And in the beginning, she and Patrick kind of sort of butt heads because of the fact of his lack of tact, so to speak. And, her beliefs is just like, he's just really not... Patrick can be quite an ass at times. So there's also her. There's this guy named Cho, who's my favorite character, because no matter what, Cho always has a straight face about everything. And Cho's Korean, and he goes into the situation like anything that happens with him and Jane and the other detective, whose name is Wayne Rigsby. He's tall, kind of chiseled chin kind of guy and stuff like that. They're partners. Cho and Rigsby are partners too. But it's so hilarious watching the interactions between Cho and Rigsby a lot of times, because Cho is so straight-faced. It's like in the most like funniest of situations, Cho is just like, he won't laugh. He barely cracks a smile. I mean, there's times where he may crack a smile about something, especially if might be involving him, but Cho, hands down, is my favorite character. If I would have ever met the actor, I would have told him, listen, I'm sorry, but I've got to say that you are my favorite character on The Mentalist, like, hands down. Like, I don't care what anybody says, like, because he's so straight-faced, and Cho has had an interesting story arc in the show, but I'm going to get back to that in a second. As far as, we have Detective Rigsby, we have Cho, we have Van Pelt, we have Patrick Jane, and we have Lisbon and her boss. I can't remember the man's name, to be honest with you. He was like, as their boss, he was barely there, and when he was there, it was like he was always telling Lisbon to keep Jane in line, because Jane has this tendency of, since he's a consultant for the CBI, he has this thing where if he goes and he talks to people for questioning, he doesn't just talk to them any regular way. He will find, for some reason, he studies body language. It's not so much that he's a psychic. He just has a tendency to pick up on people's mannerisms, and the way how they talk, the way how they speak, and the way how their eyes may move when asked a specific question, things of that nature. So he essentially just studies the way how people interact and respond to certain situations. That's why he's able to tell who's a killer and who's not a killer, or who has like daddy issues or mommy issues, or who's just like a sleaze bag, or who's just really generally a nice person. So he picks up on these things. He's very intuitive to how people react and respond to things. So we'll give him that as a so-called power. So basically, now he is working with the CBI to capture killers and such around California. And this is also including the elusive Red John, who murdered his family. So I think at the beginning of the show, it had been 5 years since it had happened, and he's been working with them, and he's very reckless in his actions. Like, he will say things that, I remember, like the first episode, there was a missing girl who was found dead, a teenage girl, and the parents were doing a press conference. And I'll never forget this. He goes and walks into their house. He goes into the fridge, makes himself a sandwich, and makes himself a cup of tea. And then when the mother comes inside the house and she's like, "Who are you?" he introduces himself to her, gives her a cup of tea, and then he starts asking her a line of questions like, how long was it, did you know that your husband was having sex with your daughter? And you could see she's quite shaken by the question, and she seems like, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh no, the question was, do you think your husband killed your daughter? And she said yes, no, yes. She was very conflicted. And then at one point she said, like, I think he asked her the question about whether or not the husband was sleeping with their daughter. She seemed a little distressed and despondent. So at this point, the husband comes in and he's like, "Hey, who are you?" And he's like, "Patrick Jane." And then he says something like, "Oh, did you murder your daughter?" or something to that effect. And the man's actions was like, "What?" And then Patrick says, "Well, if you didn't do it, any person who was ever asked a question like that would automatically go into attack mode and would have punched me in the face if I would ever accuse them of killing their own child. But you thought about it. So your response is, yes, you did kill your daughter." And it was like, "How long were you having sexual relations with your own daughter?" At this point, in the back of the shot, the wife goes off the screen, comes back into frame with the gun, because you see the husband's reactions like, "Wait, honey, wait, sweet, put down the gun." And she shoots him like 3 times in the chest and he falls to the floor. And then everyone, like Lisbon and all the local police officers, come in and they're like, "What the hell just happened?" And Jane is like, "I think everything turned out okay." And then it's like, "What? Dude, he's on the floor dead." Like, and the wife calmly just walks out into the backyard by the pool, like if she was about to go and sit down somewhere and have a mimosa, or contemplate the error of her ways at least. And I'm just like, well, you know what? Okay. And that was literally like the beginning of the episode, like the actual beginning of the episode. And I was like, wow, like he really is really reckless in certain things that he does. But even though he is reckless, I feel like it does come from a good place, because of the fact that he is helping them track down these killers, and he has a very good successful rate. So it's really easy for him to, get the people, figured out in a matter of time. It's just that sometimes a lot of the times he drags it along, and he'll bring the other police officers involved. Like a lot of times Cho and Rigsby gets involved in the situations, and sometimes Lisbon gets involved, and she has to be the one to be the buffer when he's about to get like attacked by the people that he accuses of either having affairs or murdered someone. She has to be the buffer, and a lot of times her job gets threatened because of the fact that he does what he does. But I feel like deep down it does come from a good place. I almost said bad place. It does come from a good place, but it's just that the way how he goes about it is in a wrong way. But his methods are really rough, but they work. So I think the show is really good. And like I said, the show tackles backstory. Like we find out that Lisbon's father was an alcoholic. I think she's also an alcoholic, and her brothers, I think, also is one of her brothers might be also an alcoholic. We also find out that that Cho was in a gang when he was younger, and then he went off to the army, and he became very, very successful as being a police officer. So he left that type of lifestyle away. So he became, part of law enforcement. We also find out that Rigsby was a former firefighter, and then he became a police officer. I don't know why he transitioned from that a little bit, but we know that he ends up having a crush for Van Pelt, and they try not to get themselves romantically involved with each other on the show, and it works up to a certain extent, but I'm not gonna that's kind of like me ruining the rest of the show. So they do kind of get together eventually, but it's like a while for that to happen. Van Pelt is kind of more like by the book, and she's like very like, listen, I may be the rookie, I may be the new one on the team, but I need this job and I love working here. So she sometimes does desk work, and she's also out on the field. I like her character too, but I think out of everybody that I would say, like I said before, I like Cho the most, because Cho, out of everyone so far, has the most backstory that carried over a few episodes. He's just so straight faced, and he just goes along with the crap that Jane does. It's like he barely questions anything. He just hops in the car and he just says, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Okay, let's go." Like, he's just so straight faced. Like, no matter what. Like, I remember one time he told Rigsby, and he was like, "God, man, you need to." He's like, "You really need to get laid by have more sex with Van Pelt, because you're really like uptight." Like, he's so straight to the point and very direct. His way, it's like he is just like a standard cop. Like, he really is one of those guys that really takes his job serious and is really serious at that. Like, he barely cracks a smile. And that's what I love about Cho. And Cho is like, he is your go-to when it hits the fan. Cho is that guy that you want on your side. Like, he'll be the first one to open that trunk and bring out that shotty and face down a group of bikers, and while his partner only got a Glock in the middle of a street in a suburban neighborhood, and will not care, because he is about that life. Like, he doesn't care. So that's one thing I love about Cho. Like, he's just so straightforward and really honest, and you can tell that he comes from a good place. It's just that he's just so serious. So I love that about Cho. Like, he's so awesome. Like, I laugh every time. Like, it would be a serious situation, and Cho just, like, there was one scene where I'm watching in the second season currently, but there was one particular thing, I'm gonna tell you about it, where he goes and he's like, Jane offers him some food at this restaurant, at this place, and Cho says, "I don't eat anything that I can't identify." And I was like, and he just says it in just one straight, like, as he's walking by, like, he doesn't even miss a beat. Like, he just keeps going, and I'm just like, yes, like, that's my boy. Like, he's just so honest and so true, and I agree with him. I'm not eating nothing I can't identify. Like, that's just not a thing. So I love Cho, and like I said before, if I ever met the actor, I would have just told him so much, like, I loved you on this show. Like, you were my favorite character. Like, you're so serious, and you're so straight to the point, so direct. Like, you don't care. Like, that's just, and I just love that about him. Red John has been also part of the seasons where there's been a few episodes where they could have gotten him, but he was always at least maybe one or two steps behind, and you could kind of see, like, the frustration on Patrick, because he can't catch this guy, and he wants to get rid of this guy because this guy murdered his family, and he's murdered many people along the way. And not only that, but he gets people to do his bidding as well. Like, he has, like, henchmen and henchwomen and stuff like that to do his dirty work. So I think that's where Patrick is just like, you're taking lives, even though the people that work for you, they somehow end up being dead and they sacrifice themselves for you. Like, you know, he just wishes that that's the one person that he can't solve the case and put this whole thing behind him, if he could put it behind him, you know. And you can see that Patrick hides behind like this goof off kind of assholic personality, because he is deep down, he's depressed, he's sad because he's lost his family. When he goes home, he barely goes home to sleep, and he just sits in a room on a single mattress with the red John still painted on the wall. Like, he still lives in the house. He just doesn't really have much of a life outside of the CBI. So it's just pretty much that, and it's kind of sad, because it's like this man took everything from him, and he's just, you know, I guess it kind of made him, I wouldn't essentially say a better person, but it just made him more jaded to a lot of things. So I think he realized he took everything for granted before. That's why he no longer does the psychic things anymore. But he does know the art of hypnosis, and he has hypnotized plenty of people on the show already to do some pretty outlandish things. Not so outlandish to the point where it would be warranted. Well, technically you're not supposed to hypnotize people because it's something against their will, and you know, so but he has done it, and to, you know, kind of sway things in their direction in the police investigation. But yeah, The Mentalist is a really good show. It's funny, it's cool, and most of the times you might be able to figure out within the first maybe 15 to 20 minutes who is the killer. So it's not really that difficult. Sometimes it may throw you off a little bit, but most times you'll probably get it on your first try. I noticed a few times I was sitting with my friend and we're both like, yeah, that guy did it. That's him. Because it's just like, it just feels like that's the way how the show is going. So it's very procedural, and straight to the point. And I love the show. So I recommend you guys in my retro corner today to go check out The Mentalist. The Mentalist is also, you can find it on Amazon Prime Video. That's where I'm watching the second season currently. So if you have access to Prime Video, you can check it out there. And you can also check out, you know, what the actor's been doing since the show's ended. I think the show ended back in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. So you could give it a look-see and see for yourself. They have all, I think, 7 or 8 seasons of the show on Prime Video. Finally, something that I don't have on Netflix, right? So that's it for The Mentalist. All right, guys. So on Sunday, I have to tell you, the Royal Rumble, WWE Royal Rumble, 2021. I'm gonna say now, I gotta say this now. I know I spoke about the WWE TLC last month, I believe. I think it was in December or January. I think it was January. So no, it was December. Sorry. So I spoke about WWE previously, and I have to say, like, honestly, by far, I know a lot of people were saying that this was like one of the best Royal Rumbles that they've had in the past few years and stuff. And I was just like, I don't know what you guys are watching, but it doesn't feel the same. Honestly, for me, I felt like, again, since that we're in this pandemic, I know it's hard to get, you know, the companies not having fans attend these pay-per-views, and I understand that, but it's just a pain to see all of these damn screens on, and then the pipe in crowd noises and stuff. It really doesn't help and give anything to the show. It just makes it seem like really stupid, in my opinion. Some of the matches, like the Women's Royal Rumble, I kind of didn't like aspects of it because of the fact that it just felt like it was just going on a little too long. It was dragging at certain points, and I honestly thought that they would have had some better picks for this year. I must say that I am happy with the outcome of who won that match, and I'm glad that they didn't go with Charlotte Flair again to win the match. Even if it had been like somebody like Shayna Baszler who would have won, who I wanted to pick for last year's Royal Rumble, but didn't win. I'm still glad that Bianca Belair won, and if I'm not mistaken, she is the first African American woman to actually won the Women's Royal Rumble. So kudos to her on that. I give her a clap for that, because it's a shame that out of all of these years that women have been wrestling within this company, and you're going to tell me in 2021 that she is the first black female to actually win the Royal Rumble. I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. That just bothers my soul just to hear that. I know a few years ago in 2018, we had, I believe, our first Japanese Royal Rumble winner, which was Asuka. In fact, that year, 2 of the winners of the men and women's Royal Rumble were both Japanese. Shinsuke Nakamura won for the men's side, and Asuka won for the women's. And I thought that was pretty cool, because normally WWE don't really do that, thing. They may give one, ethnicity a win, and then somebody else might get it who's, not blonde, who's blonde and all the other stuff. But I'm happy to see that was a thing, So the women's tag team championships were on the kickoff show, and Asuka, Charlotte Flair, and were the tag team champions, and Asuka is still currently the Raw Women's title holder. So they fight Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax for the titles again, and with the help of Ric Flair and Lacey Evans, Charlotte lost the match for her team after they put Asuka through the table on the outside of the ring, and pretty much they annihilated Lacey Evans came and annihilated Charlotte with a woman's right, with I think maybe a pair of brass knuckles. I don't know what she hit her with, but she hit her with something that Rick passed along to her. And I'm like, oh, so they're doing this angle again where the father betrays the daughter and he's doing the most. I'm like, oh, well, we haven't seen this shit before. I'm like, okay, whatever. So they lost their match. I think it was like the match was like maybe barely 10 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Most of the show is really built off of them talking and doing like other things. So kickoff show isn't really much to look forward to, since it was only one match. The Raw men's tag team, I don't even think the Raw, yeah, there was no tag team match for the men on Raw. I believe that there was no men Raw tag team championships defended tonight, if I'm not mistaken. 2 nights ago. I'm not saying tonight. It was 2 nights ago. I remember why. One of the members of the New Day are not even tag team champions anymore. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I think I made a mistake on that. I don't think they're Raw tag team champions anyway. But I know one of the guys are out on injury, so That's why he couldn't compete in the Royal Rumble. So yeah, I don't know. Like, this show, I must say that I was kind of sort of my biggest surprise, I gotta say, the Goldberg versus the Drew McIntyre. Yes, the Drew McIntyre. Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre. I have to say, it started off the main show, and I was really surprised that they even decided that they weren't gonna give Goldberg the title at Royal Rumble. Like, I was expecting, okay, he's gonna bulldoze over Drew, and then that's the end of the story. And I'm just like, wait, so you guys didn't mind destroying the momentum that the Fiend had last year when you made Goldberg beat him at Saudi Arabia in February. So you didn't mind that, but you mind not taking the belt off of Drew for a second time so far. Drew hasn't even been champion for a full year. Drew literally had the championship from April to about maybe November, then or October. I think he lost it at Survivor Series. Then he got it back, I think he had it. If he didn't lose it in Survivor Series, he probably lost it at TLC. No, he kept it at TLC. So he lost it at Survivor Series then to Randy Orton. Randy Orton literally had the belt for like maybe 3 weeks or a month at most. Then the next pay-per-view came, he beat him, he beat him on Raw, if I'm not mistaken. Then got the belt back, and then he had to relinquish the belt for a little bit because he had COVID. And then I think he ended up having the belt again. I don't know what happened there. The details to me are a little bit sketchy. I'm gonna have to look through some YouTube videos to actually catch up. But overall, the outcome was not what I expected. I'm glad that Drew still retained the title, and I can't wait to see him fight someone else, because honestly, I can't think if I can live to see another Orton and Drew McIntyre match. It's just something about Randy Orton and his wrestling has gotten really boring and very predictable. Like, it's how many times I'm already know you're gonna go for that draping DDT, bro. Like, change up your moves to something. Do something else, man. Like, come on. But yeah, that was an interesting outcome to me. Didn't see that one coming. I'm trying to think what the other matches were. The men's Royal Rumble was last. I think the winner was Edge after he came back from injury, and I was just like, okay, so I'm thinking they're going to put him against Drew or Roman. I don't know. I am hearing that it might be against Drew, and then Drew's probably gonna drop the belt to Edge, who then is gonna fight Orton, because Orton and him still technically got a feud going on. And I'm just like, oh my god, not again. But yeah, I think that overall that outcome was kind of like, I didn't expect that to happen for me personally. I know people are like, come on, Samantha, like, you really think that that's not gonna happen? I'm like, well, I was kind of hoping somebody else would have gotten it. My pick was actually Daniel Bryan to go and fight Roman, because Roman and him never really got to have that fight that they should have had as a result of the whole, getting rid of Daniel and then pushing Roman agenda a few years back. And that's why one of the reasons why Roman had so much heat on him back in those days, because of it. Because they were pushing him, and he wasn't what the crowd wanted at the time. They wanted Daniel Bryan, which is understandable. So that match was okay. I just think that the women's Royal Rumble could have been better a bit. It was just kind of dry. Just didn't really feel like anything special. Aside from Bianca Belair winning, that was a special moment. But overall, the actually inside of the women's Royal Rumble itself, it wasn't nothing really spectacular to go and write home about. I mean, you had like former wrestlers that came through, but I'm just like, okay. I mean, it is what it is. The Kevin Owens and the Roman Reigns match, again with the part, I honestly think that it was a good match for what it was. I mean, there was some parts of it where I was just kind of like, okay, we've seen this before on SmackDown. I don't see why we keep going to the well this too many times. But I thought it was okay. Especially like the move when Kevin dived off the top of the forklift and dived and did a senton, I think it was, on Roman over a thing of pallets. Like, I thought that was pretty awesome, and that was pretty cool. It was kind of paying homage to Austin and Triple H with the full forklift thing. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think that was there another match. Like, I don't know, guys. It's like when you try to think about things involving wrestling, sometimes it's kind of hard to remember everything. Oh yes, the Sasha Banks and Carmella match. Now, Carmella got defeated by Sasha Banks, rightfully so, because honestly, I don't really want Sasha to give up the belt just yet, because of the fact that there was always this joke about how she will win the belt, but she'll never have a successful title defense. Usually going into a pay-per-view, she'll end up losing the belt right after she pretty much won it the pay-per-view before. So it was one of those things, like, we really and truly just have to, like, be more mindful. And I think WWE is trying to do that, where they don't want her to be that person, and they want her to have, like, a successful title reign. The only thing is that she doesn't have a successful title reign in front of a live audience, and whatever, I don't care what anybody says, when you in a situation like that and you're a wrestler, a professional wrestler, you feed off the crowd. If there's no crowd, then what are you really feeding off of? You can't really, ask people to go and, tune in and just say, well, they're just feeding off the crowd at home. They don't know what the crowd is saying or doing. So, they're just feeding off to imaginary people. And that hopefully needs to change, because a lot of these superstars need crowd interaction. Whether you're a face or a heel, it doesn't matter. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need that response from the crowd. They are what help makes the wrestler better in terms of their reaction to them. So it's like a give and take. Sasha Banks match wasn't that bad. I think there might have been a botch or so. Remember, there was a part where I think Carmella had dived through the ropes at Sasha while Sasha was on the outside dealing with Carmella's sommelier, which I didn't even know that was actually a word. It's a, purveyor of wines, I guess. Yeah, so Reggie or Reginald, whatever his name is, he's Carmella's valet, and he keeps getting in the way of Sasha. So I think at one point he got dejected from the match, and while Sasha was slightly distracted, Carmella came and dived through the ropes at Sasha, but I think she caught more of Sasha's side than she actually caught fully on her. And you could kind of see Sasha giving her the signal to make sure that she was okay, or to check to see if she was all right, because she actually saw her mouth moving at one point to say if she was all right. And I was like, wow, like, you guys gotta learn to hide that type of stuff better. Like, this is crazy. Yeah, that match was okay for what it was. I'll probably give it like maybe a 3 out of 5 or 3.5 out of 5 maybe. I must say Carmella is actually improving a lot in the ring from what I've seen, so I'm not gonna like take everything away from her. The only thing that I really can't stand is the fact that I know that her real life boyfriend is on commentary, and not for nothing, but I don't really think that's really fair to have his ass outside while during her matches, and all he's doing is shilling her through the entire match, talking about, doesn't she look spectacular? Doesn't she look great? All right, motherfucker, we get it. You're dating her. You left your wife for her. We understand it. We know you left your wife for this chick. We get it. You don't have to remind us every freaking time that you're out there how well and she's this and she's that. I don't give a shit about what the script says, what Vince tells anybody in their ear. That shit is annoying. Like, I'm pretty sure nobody wants to hear Montez Ford come outside on ringside and talking googly goggly about his wife all the time. It gets tired. No offense to them, but that was just a perfect example of who I thought, So, like, you gotta think of it this way. It's like, it's annoying because every time she comes out, he's like, oh, she's this and she's that. I'm like, yeah, that's wonderful, but yeah, nobody wants to keep hearing that. That's annoying and it's boring. Like, we obviously know, it would have been one thing if we didn't know that you guys were dating, but the fact that you are dating and you're calling her matches on top of it just seems unfair to me, because some other people never had that luxury before. Like, I never hear Stephanie going outside talking, doing like that on Triple H's on matches like that all the time. And they're married. They got 3 kids together. I don't remember her doing that all the time. Like, anytime she was always by ringside majority of the time. Like, why the fuck do I need to hear all of that? But it's whatever, I suppose. To each his own. They didn't really have much of a big card for this because of, obviously, for the Rumble, and I'm thinking I might be forgetting another match, but I'm not entirely too sure. I know there was a performance by Bad Bunny who did a song about Booker T in Spanish, and I was just kind of like, it would have been better if I had known what the lyrics were before, I didn't really care for the song too much. It's not so much that it was in Spanish. That was my issue. It's not. I just didn't really care for the song. I think when they put it on the show, the way that they put it was awkwardly placed, and it just seemed rather stupid and annoying to me. I kind of felt like it should have just been on the kickoff show rather than be on the actual show itself. But I guess, it's whoever makes these decisions. I just don't know. Like, I really don't know why that song was a thing. Like, I just don't get it. So yeah, the Royal Rumble was like, it was okay. It was just to me, it was just kind of dry. Like, I really didn't see any big spectacular thing about it. It didn't really make me feel like ooh or anything like that. But I did like the fact that Bianca won. I think out of everything I'm happy about is that Bianca won, because I big up to girl power and stuff, but it's just good to see black women being represented in this company and being title holders or being number one contenders for things, because we don't really get represented that much, a lot, in wrestling, in professional wrestling, for whatever reason or the next. So I'm not really going to get into that. But yeah, it was all right show. If you want to check it out, I believe it's still on the WWE network. You just got to pay the $9.99 and subscribe, guys, because that's how they get your money. All right, now in the movie reviews. Oh, buddy. Whew, guys, I'm gonna have to take a break because I am parched. Because the two movies that I've seen in recent weeks, I don't know. I'm not really a happy commander, so to speak. It just kind of makes me feel like, what am I doing watching this? Outside the Wire is a Netflix movie starring Anthony Mackie, and I had to say that when I saw the trailer for this movie, I completely did not get the same feeling as I did when I saw the actual movie itself. Like, I felt like the trailer to me gave off a different vibe than the actual movie itself. What I mean by that, and I know this is going to be spoilers, so I have to, do a major spoiler alert. What I mean by that is he is a machine, right? Created by the U.S. military. So he enlists this guy, this young man who serves, to come to where he's stationed at because he needs him to run some supplies on the outside of this particular area. Now, the guy was brought there because he dropped a drone bomb on his fellow soldiers because he was trying to save the lives of 38, and he sacrificed 2 people out of the 40, and just so that he could, save the rest of the squad. However, he got somewhat punished for that, and he got sent to this other part. He got transferred. The problem now goes where he's like, he meets Anthony Mackie's character. Anthony reveals to him that he's, created by the government or whatever, because he's kind of see-through. He has the ability to be completely see-through. And what got to me was the fact that they made it sound like, oh, they're gonna go and give this medicine to these people who need it, and then it becomes this whole mission on getting secret codes and blowing up this and blowing up that, and then trying to destroy. Anthony Mackie's character ended up saying he wanted to destroy all of himself from the government making more of him, and this, I was like, wait, how the hell did we get here? The movie just, I don't know, I just didn't feel like I really enjoyed this movie as much as I thought I was going to. To me, it was kind of a letdown, because it just became another, okay, machines are created by man, and machines are, resenting that, and now they want to do away with themselves and or the human race. Like, I was just like, okay, how many times have this type of crap has been done before? So I kind of was just left undesired and unhappy with the movie, and I just kind of wish that it would just, go on, just go away at that point. I wasn't too thrilled with it. It just kind of really just angered me, just kind of really pissed me off. It wasn't, to me, a okay movie at all. If I had a choice, I probably would give it maybe a 2 out of 5. And the only reason I give it a 2 out of 5 or 2.5 out of 5 is because of the fact that I think there are certain aspects about the movie I did like, but other aspects of it, I just kind of felt like it was just too. It was just. It just made me feel like it was one thing when it wasn't. I just got the vibe that it was supposed to be something else, and it just became something completely different. And I think that's I think that relies more on me than actually the movie itself, because I interpreted that it was going to be a different type of movie. I thought it was going to be saving people, but as I was pointed out to, that no, the mission was just not to do that. It was just to annihilate, and I'm like, oh well, I guess it is what it is. So yeah, if you guys want to still check out Outside the Wire, it's on Netflix. It's starring Anthony Mackie, and you could be the judge for yourself. I think it's about 2 hours long. So go ahead and check it out if you want to. Now, the one that I've been waiting for to talk to you guys about is Psycho Goreman. Oh my God, this movie is horrible. I mean, this movie was released, I think, this year, maybe a couple of weeks ago. I don't even know. I don't even care. I was just like, this movie is so trash. It's 2 hours of this movie, and I really and truly felt like, even though I didn't buy a movie ticket, I really wish that I had gotten my money back, or my eyesight my vision that I used, the energy that my eyes used to watch this damn movie. Psycho Goreman is what happens when you decide to do several amounts of drugs, several kinds of drugs, and then decide you want to go and drive a car on a highway. It's a wreck waiting to happen. No, it is a wreck, because in the beginning, you have these two kids playing outside their house. There's no explanation why these kids are just playing outside. They're just playing outside. That's just it. And these kids uncover this glowing thing in the dirt of their house, and the only thought process is to take the glowing thing out of the dirt. Play around for a few hours, which looked like it was dead midnight by the time the mother said, "Hey guys, why don't you come on in? It's time for bed." Mind you, these kids are playing in dirt. They're filthy. No one says anything else. And the mother's just like, "Come on guys, just come on in. Don't clean up or nothing." The kids go. The parents go. They tell their son goodnight. They go into the daughter's room. The daughter is pretty much on some... I swear to God, this little girl is a problem. She's like an evildoer. I feel like she's going to be... If she were an actual real life person, which I hope the child that plays her isn't going to be like this when she grows up. But the little girl is like... She's evil. Because she's really evil, and she's just like not a really nice person. She treats her brother like crap. She says hurtful things, and the parents let her get away with way too much and do not reprimand her. I think the one time the mother said something, she was called a weirdo, and the daughter pretty much dismissed her and shunned her away. And I'm like, who allows their kid to talk to them like this and carry on? Even when they eat dinner, the little girl gets up and she says, "Well, I'm done. I'm not eating anymore." And the mom is like, "Well, you still have food there." And then she just gives her like this only like bitchy response and walks away. And I'm just like, what? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but the movie was just not all that good. They come in contact eventually with this alien, and who loves to torture things, obviously, because all aliens come down to Earth and they want to torture and maim and kill everything. The kids named him Psycho Goreman. He kills civilians, and apparently this glowy thing forces him to do the bidding of this really demented child who normally needs therapy, who should get therapy because she really needs it. This child, if any of you guys ever take the time to watch this movie, the fact that this child is doing the stuff that she's doing and no one stops her, like nobody says, you know what, little girl, you need therapy, you need to speak to somebody about the issues that you do have. Where are these issues coming from? Something. Like, who hurt you? You know, why are you acting like this? Why are you so, ugh? You know, I think this movie would have been a bit better. But I digress. I don't even know what to say in words. It's just that the movie is just so terrible. It's just like if you, like I said, if you took a certain amount of the different types of drugs and you just decide to hop on a highway in your car and drive, it is a car wreck waiting to happen. It's like we were watching it on the Cinema HD app, and I think we were having internet issues and it kept buffering, which dragged the movie on longer than it was. And then at one point, the mom had got converted to some pretty much a Templar, which is an alien also. I was just like, you know what, I'm just over this whole thing. The aliens that were part of Goreman's squad when he was on his other planet, they look more like freaking Super Sentai villains than actual. They look like something you would see out of Power Rangers, and I was just like, I was like, what is this? Like, this movie is such a strain to watch at times. I'm just like, I can't. And especially if you're tired and you're trying to push through it, it's even worse because you're just like, you just want it to be over, and you just, at this point, you just feel like you want to put yourself out to pasture because this movie is just so stupid. And it's so annoying. Like, even down to the stupid game that makes no sense that they play in a movie called Crazy Ball. Like, it's the most asinine thing that you can ever listen to. And it's like, what is this? Like, this movie, I kind of wish that I didn't say, sure, I'm down for watching this movie, because I just feel like this movie was just trash. And, you know, I think I'm giving it too much credit because it's just ridiculous. But I do realize, I think the movie was created to not be taken too seriously. I get that. But other than that, it's just, that's a big no for me. Like, never again. Like, I can't even review a lot of it because it's just so much and it's just so stupid. It's just one of those movies like I just really did not like at all. Like, I just wanted it to be over, and I'm just glad that it is over. But if you guys want to check it out, I believe it's on Prime Video, but you may have to buy it. I wouldn't recommend it. So if you guys have the program called BlueStacks, you could download it on your computer. Download these. Once you finish, download BlueStacks if your computer can support it. I would say download the Cinema HD app. Find Psycho Goreman on there and watch it for free. And you don't have to pay for anything because that movie sucks. And I'm just gonna tell you, I don't want anybody to pay for that crap at all. Just don't want it. Just don't want anyone to pay for it. So you heard it from me, folks. Do not pay to watch that movie. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. That's 2+ hours of your life that you won't get back. So don't do it. Don't waste your money. All right, and finally on our book corner. Oh my goodness, my book review. I'm going to be posting it on my blog page, which is SamanthaKExperience.blogspot.com. It is going to be about the book called Ember by Hanley Bradley. Yes, Hanley Bradley. I've been reading her books, and I've been writing reviews on her books since about over a year now, I believe, about a year. And she is a good writer. She's out in the UK. We've covered her before on the show a few episodes ago. So she has a new book now out called Ember, and it's part of the Silver Springs collection, and its own separate collections called Silver Skates. This is about a figure skater. So we're moving away from Lupin and the Wolves, and now we have a figure skater who has the ability to manifest fire. I'm going to be putting the review on the blog, so I'm not going to really go into too much discussion about it here, because I'm still in the process of still reading it, so I don't want to give you guys too much of it here. But I'm going to be posting my final words on it on my blog page. So take a look-see on that. You'll check that out sometime soon, later on this week. And I would post the link in the description of this podcast episode. Once I'm done, once I go back and finish and with this review, I'm going to post the link to the actual book review. On the music level, and this is the first time for us guys, the review of music. Okay, so I was watching an episode of Watch Mojo on YouTube. They do like these top 10s and stuff like that. Well, actually, I think it was Miss Mojo. So they have another channel called Sound Mojo, where they introduce the YouTubers, the audience, new music. So a few days ago, I was listening to the song called West Coast by this group called Wolves at Midnight. I believe they're from Canada. Don't quote me on that. It's a kind of pop kind of song. So it has it seems very poppy. I think what I like mostly about the song is the chorus, because the chorus sounds, even though the song is entitled West Coast, it sounds like it could be talking about a person themselves. So I think in terms of what I got from the song, it sounds more like a love song, but I could see where it could be kind of for a love song, as opposed to describing the area where someone grew up or just loves to be in, someone's neighborhood. So I think it was a good song. I particularly, like I said before, I like the chorus. I think the chorus is really cool and it's very descriptive. It's definitely a song that you could see play on a TV show, like on a CW show or something like that, or just played in any particular scene, and so on and so forth, because I was getting that vibe when I was listening to it. So just check out Wolves at Midnight, and their song is called West Coast, and you can find it on Sound Mojo. Once again, Sound Mojo, one word, on YouTube. So go check out Wolves at Midnight on with their song West Coast on Sound Mojo, and you guys could just let me know what you think. Or I'm going to put the video in the description of this podcast as well. And guys, I must tell you, we made it over the hour mark. This is the second show back to back that I've done where we've reached over an hour. We've covered a lot of stuff. Whew, and I am tired. So, episode 6, guys, you're going to check this out. We're going to be talking about The Perfect Date. Still have to discuss the Retro Corner movie, Break-In and Break-In 2. We're going to be talking about Stranger Things Season 1. And we're going to finally conclude Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe. I promise. I know you guys have been looking forward to hearing my reviews on these things, and I know I've been behind, but I'm getting there, hopefully. It's just I have a lot of stuff I've been doing. So that concludes today's show, guys. I'm going to drop my usual contacts in the description, but if you miss it, I'm going to tell you right now. Catch me on the Samantha K Experience.blogspot.com. That is the official page to the show, to the website, whatever. All my reviews and everything that I'm thinking about is on that page, so go check it out. I think the last thing I've updated was episode 4, which was about a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about a few things there. That show was also at length. We were talking about the Ripper, the Yorkshire murders, and we were also talking about the movie Rebecca. So if you missed that show, you can always go back and check it out. And we have some other stuff in that show as well. It was a pretty darn good show, if I say so myself. Also, if you need to write me any personal info, hit me up at SamanthaKP82@gmail.com. If you have any things that you want me to review and check out, you can hit me up there in the email. If you have anything you would like to promote, you can also hit me up there as well. You can also check out my Facebook page. It's at facebook.com SamanthaKEXP218. That is also based off of the blog page. And also, you can also find the links directly to the podcast itself. There's links that will lead you directly to the podcast, so you guys can, have multiple ways of finding me. And I also created a Tumblr page, which is the Samantha K Experience .tumblr.com, which is also me just posting up links to the episodes as we go on from a weekly or bi-weekly basis, just keeping you guys updated to what's going on with the show, what's going on with me, and so on and so forth. I also have Instagram and Twitter at Samantha K EXP218 on both of them, on Instagram and Twitter. Samantha K EXP218. So I'm gonna put all of those links and all of those Twitter handles and hashtags and everything in the description of the episode, guys. So with that being said, guys, I am Samantha K, and this has been my experience, and I will check it to you later. Peace.